Hello and welcome to the Bastard's Guide to Direwolf20. This is the first episode and I'll just quickly explain the setup here. I'm going to create a foothold and then slowly start expanding from there. If people like what they're seeing, I will provide more episodes as we go. I'm doing this on request from a friend of mine, Classless Rook 32, or Rookie Amongst Friends, and I'll provide a link to his channel in the comment section. Anyway, this is a brand new server. I have just logged in, and as you'll be able to see in a second, haven't even opened my inventory yet. I'll provide links to the Direwolf20 pack too. It is a tech and magic heavy mod pack by Direwolf20. And, well, there's not much to say about that. This mod pack has Mistcraft, and it is worth mentioning that Mistcraft has been made unstable by Densource, not the Densource page from Mistcraft, but the Densource mods. Anyway, as this mod is in Direwolf20, this used to create problems with Mistcraft worlds, but has been fixed. However, it means that Mistcraft will pre-generate a dimension and check for ores when the game starts the first time. This is called profiling, and it takes a little while. I'll let that run its course to allow me to do this in good order. Anyway, as you can see, sun's in the sky, and I better get moving. So, this is intended to be a speedy startup. I intend to get to high tech as fast as possible and then slow down and maybe look at different mods from there. But the initial focus is to get started as fast as humanly possible. And for this I've ended up in a truly terrible area, but that's going to be alright. We'll just move. Oh dear, rubber tree everywhere. Usually rubber is a good thing because you'll need this for Mind Factory Reloaded. However, at the moment I'm more interested in getting basic tools for which rubber without machines is not very useful. Anyway. There's some wood and some seeds, I guess, that I can get started on some food production. Yeah, as you can see, we're going through the whole progression. For those not familiar with Direwolf20, I can recommend this mod pack. It's my personal favorite. It has a good balance of tech and magic mods. I'm mostly a tech person myself, but I appreciate that there's a little bit for everyone here. Alright, so basic tools before we get started. Now, normally I'd only make a pickaxe, but that's gonna have to cut it for right now. There's a bunch of sheep that could prove useful soon, but let's first just get the necessary stone to proceed from here. Now, normally it is recommended to seek shelter on the first night, which is generally good advice. But I'm not going to heed it. I am going to keep a death counter. You'll see it on the right side of the screen. When I kick the bucket the first time, it'll start keeping tally. It also means that if I invite people to play with me for future episodes, and they kick the bucket, they will appear on the death tally, which, well, might prove interesting to some people, and then you might just get sick of it and not be interested. That's fine. Either way, that is the way it's going to go. I want a shovel in case we run into some interesting ores, and an axe because chopping down wood is just not that interesting. And this is a little bit wasteful, but I actually want a sword as we're going to be doing a little bit of traveling at first. So I'm going to pick up this, I'm going to leave this behind, and see we're traveling. I'm not going to bother too much with keeping the wildlife alive, as I don't intend to settle down here anyway. Now, there's a downside to this. Should I die during this expedition, my start will probably be really slow instead of really fast. However, I don't intend to kick the bucket, so I think we should be fine for this. Now, these Natura bushes are a really easy source of food on the first nights, and therefore I pick them up. They can be upgraded tremendously. Oh dear, well, that's no good. Okay, that's really no good. Oh great. Yeah, so there's several liquids in this game that you don't want to fall into, and I just stepped in between two of them, and, well, let's just say that was a lot less elegant than I'd hoped for a start of the first episode. Well, hello. So, we have wolves here, which means we won't have sheep for very long, so we might as well. Alright. Now, as you may or may not have noticed, I'm taking a special interest in these Thaumcraft trees. I am doing this because some of them, the Thaumcraft great trees, some of them have cobwebs around them. This indicates that there is a treasure below, and also a spawner, which means be a little careful. Those pedestals out there, don't get too close. They're spawny at night. See, there's some more sand here, I might as well grab that. Particularly the iron ore will come in handy, but you just never know. I don't imagine aluminum will be useless once we get started either. However, I don't anticipate I'll need it as bad as I'll need the iron. Anyway, my hope is that I'll find a dungeon chest somewhere, be it under a tree in a dungeon or wherever, where I can find a couple of ender pearls to get me started. Or maybe some other useful loot. I mean, don't knock it if there's something good in there. Where did that go? Probably picked it up. Maybe didn't. It's alright. Alright. So, moving out of these biomes, I'll have to count on finding what I need elsewhere, as maybe a jungle temple or some such, because I'm sure they're not going to be able to, oh, there we go. There's a word of warning about the oil here. As you can probably tell, you cannot swim in it, so don't bother trying. You cannot jump out of it either, or climb out of it. You're going to have to walk out of it. In other words, you're going to have to make a path out once you fall in. Now, I'm about to have a little bit of an exciting first night here, so I'm just going to quickly attempt to cut my losses and make a bed. There we go. So, sleeping for the first night. Very well. Okay, so, yeah, the decision's made. I'm going to venture into the desert, but for that I'm gonna need to get some wood and ideally, a sapling or two, as wood is not exactly common in the desert, though I don't think I'll set up shelter in the desert. It'll just be looking for dungeons and temples. Now, well then, that was terribly useful. Alright, never mind. It'll be just fine. I think I have enough wood. Sorry, enough. Oh dear. What I see here is a coven witch. They're generally not aggressive. These might be famous last words. Oh, mind the quicksand. However, they do have these little neat structures that'll grant you some various resources, so might as well. Now what we're looking for here is something like that over there. I think it's water though, yeah it is, okay. Could have been a dungeon. Dungeons are fairly easy to find in desert biomes, probably easier than anywhere else. Otherwise, maybe there will be a desert temple. If not, I'll just have traveled through the desert for no good reason at all. Cinder blooms. These are added by, or cinder brills. They're added by Thaumcraft, and by all means pick them up, as they will make your life a hell of a lot easier. And you'll need, by the time modular power suit comes around, it's nice to have cactus. So let's see what we can do for ourselves here. Now, what I think I see up ahead is a blue power volcano. Ooh, and more oil. Now the blue power volcano is pretty nifty, yet ultimately not very interesting. It adds basalt, which I can cook up, and, well, what do you know? A meteor crater. Now this, however, is useful. I'm going to have to return to here. The meteor crater is going to provide me with what I need for applied energistics, and, well, for those unfamiliar with me, applied energistics is a big deal for me. I simply function better when I have applied energistic storage. So let's see what we can find up here. It's fairly safe to say that we'll be able to find this again. Now, as I said, I'm mostly a tech mod person, and thusly most of the things I do will be centered around tech. Bye-bye, dirt. I will not be needing you, but I will be needing... oh dear. These reeds. Alright, we're getting to the point where I better find a place to settle down, as I'm running out of just about any kind of storage space. But I will need to find dungeons, so maybe some sort of combination scheme here would be useful. This is not exactly my brightest of moments, let's just put it that way. There's a couple of things down there that look like they could be dungeons, but it could also just be odd shapes in the desert. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Alright. So, more Thumbcraft, great wood, and a little bit of creepy music to get me started on. Again, another Thumbcraft tree with no cobwebs. This is depressing. Alright. My cow tipping skills are apparently a little bit off. So, something tells me that as I'm running out of space for everything, I should probably decide to settle down quickly. Now, this means I'll have to live without junk loaders for the time being, but that is probably going to be okay, I guess. Let's see, we have food, though nothing ready, and a small amount of wood. This will suffice right now. So what I need to do is there's several ways of making a home, but what I tend to do is burrow in, so somewhere like here is good. So the first shelter is temporary. I will be going for better shelter shortly. But the point of the first shelter is to have a place to locate my stuff, and ideally positioned. This is not completely ideal, but it is close enough to most of the biomes I'll need. Yeah, alright, so I'll expand this a little bit. There we go. Alright, let's set this up over here. We can get a chest going, which is probably my first priority at this point. And the chest goes there, and we can start putting the stuff we don't need right away in the chest. As I'm about to starve to death, then crafting a furnace might be a good move as well. That's not the best placement in the world. Oh, come on. There we go. Over there, we'll need food, and there we go. There we go. Alright, so night will be upon us at some not too far off moment in time, so let's just quickly finish the shelters and we have a place to pop down in bed. I don't intend to stay indoors for the remainder of the night, so I'll be out trying to get stuff instead. As I said, this is just a first shelter. There's going to be absolutely nothing pretty or remotely useful about it other than a place to dump a bed and some storage and then basic machines to get some stuff done. Then once that is handled, I'll start worrying about building an actual base and making whatever's needed to keep the world running. I'm about to run into an unfortunate detail, or rather two of them. Step number one, the bed is going to need a little bit more of a room. Step two, I need light. Anyway. There's a few general tips and tricks that I strongly suggest picking up. Its general orientation, always know what time of day it is, always know what your plan is, and night, sleep. And do not be caught off guard, as things in this mod can be positively deadly. Okay, we're going to need some torches to keep this place lit, and then we're going to need to go on a little adventure. So, alright. Alright, first off we're going to need a handful of pickaxes. I'm guessing 3 will do. Whoop, there we go. And then we're going to need as many torches as we can carry, and that's good. And the leather we'll need later. Pile of ashes as well. Anyway, dirt can go sit there. We might need that. Alright, so on that notice, we should have some steak coming up. Alright, so a reasonable plan is to get some food going early, because it might be worth mentioning. I'm playing on difficulty level 3, which is hard mode, and things hit pretty hard, and death by starvation is very real. As I do not intend to starve to death, I plan on, actually that's not what I want to do, there we go. So I'm going to plant those bushes we found earlier, and try to get some food going that way. It's really good early game food. As it's ridiculously cheap to get. But it will skew the design of our little shelter. However, I can deal with that. So, there we go. There we go, that'll be alright. And I'll place cobblestone in that hole. Again, I'm not looking for aesthetics here, I'm just looking for, well, a sheltered hole in the ground. There we go. Alright, so those are planted. This one's spare, we'll pop it outside. Should grow up and provide even more food. Alright, so next step will be getting everything in here torched up. So here's a good friend in that aspect. If you hit F7, it'll show spawn zones. The red spawn zones, things can spawn anytime, though not when I'm this close, fortunately. Yellow things will spawn at night. Thus, if I remove all spawn zones, both yellow and otherwise, from inside here, I'm more likely to be safe during the night. Now, in order to find my shelter, I'm going to place some torches out here. It'll light up brilliantly in the night. So if I get caught outdoors after dark, then I'll have a reasonable chance of finding my way back. This seems like a solid idea as well. Getting caught outside is probably not good for your health. starter, so we currently have no armor and not much of anything really. However, we have a plan and we're adventuring, so again, no dice on the tree, but there's some gravel. Gravel ore is a good way to get started early game on picking up some random things. Most gravel ores can be picked up with a shovel, with a stone shovel, but you will encounter gold, and that will not do. When you do, then, well, act accordingly. I'm gonna brutally murder some cows. A solid source of food at this point in time, hardly replenishable, but that is less of a priority at this stage. And again, this is technically, I guess it's server play, but I'm going to be the only person, so I also don't have to take into account that there needs to be common courtesy, enough food for everybody and stuff. And whoops, that was a little bit silly. Alright, so alright, I think that should do for food for right now, so given that the days don't last forever, I'm going to make some tracks. Now this is actually a good area to spot ore gravel. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for good instances of ore gravel. Alright, so we're coming up on a coast. No sign of dungeons or otherwise. We might have to end up doing this the old-fashioned way without the dungeon loot, which is a little bit annoying, but very little to do about that. Alright, at this point it's not really a priority, but seeing I'm running past them anyway, might as well, in case you're wondering why I don't turn around and murder more of them. It's a simple matter of convenience that I keep killing cows. If they're in my line of running, I'm gonna get my hands on them. Alright, so this is a good vantage point. There's apparently something that looks like a ravine down there that's open from the overworld up. I see nothing of interest in the desert, so this way it's gonna have to be. Unfortunately, though, I anticipate this will be more of the same. Yeah. Except for some gravel, or we'll just take care of that. Oh, here's another place to explore. Yeah, this should be good. Come back here later. Sort that place out. Step 1's going to be down here, and some gravel is always good. Tin is going to come in useful too. Any thermal engineering and MFR machines that depend on thermal engineering machine frames will need at least tin. Gear. Alright, and iron ore gravel is always nice to have, so there we go. Alright, I'm going to conclude that there's no easy pickings here, so based on that, I'm just going to get back and get started on some serious digging. Of course, this is a bit of a drag, but we can't always win, can we now?
No.
Okay, this is the interesting part where I need a vantage point to try to find out where I dug in. I do believe it's over there. Would have been smart to set and actually hit when you're trying to kill someone. So, weapons are going to be your best friend. There's no two thoughts about it. Alright, I think I'm on the right top. Yep. Alright, good. Let's get inside, it's getting dark. Alright, so our little fast mission here failed horribly, and because of that, I think it's time to look into getting some actual wood and stuff instead of this. So I'm going to need to dump some charcoal in the furnace. There's none for the picking in here. Okay, good. Alright, so let's chop a few trees and and trying to get saplings that way, but I think my time is better spent at the moment chopping down trees and letting the saplings drop on their own up. So the original intent was to try to get ender pearls from a dungeon. That's not going to happen, so instead I'm going to attempt to make a nightly raid on Enderman. Alright, these saplings will come in useful when my tree farm started, which is going to be soon. We've already wasted way too much time trying to get a speedy start by just not having the luck of the draw here. Okay, there you go. That's what it is. There we go. Alright. So I'm gonna cave in here to make, or kind of reserve room for more rooms, and put some torches up here to keep things from spawning, and I have some wood, so make some basic storage. I might move that, but it requires iron tools to properly remove, so I'd rather wait and see what I can get out of it. I'm gonna need some charcoal, so what I'm gonna do is actually, I believe I have my first pickaxe still, that's good. Burn that up. And then 1 charcoal will burn 8 pieces of wood. So there we go. Alright, again we're playing on hard, so any attempts at a wooden door will be an epic fail. And we can afford that. So let's see, there's everything we need for a night indoor here. I'm going to, oh, not quite there yet, I'm sleeping. Alright, gonna reserve this base here, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're gonna make them all 8, and then we're gonna start descending. I'm gonna make a fairly simple staircase. I'm not gonna do a spiral staircase. Whereas I have done this before, I feel as if you maintain your initial position for a while in game, it becomes practical to be able to staircase your way out of it to allow quicker movement. And I find that it's fairly important to keep torching off areas of your base as you go, for the simple reason that if you get caught unaware in your base by a creeper, it can have some pretty catastrophic consequences. Yeah, I'm not really one to kick the bucket much, and in particular I don't feel like kicking the bucket to a creeper at the wrong time, destroying my storage and everything I've worked for, so I'm somewhat determined to keep spawn zones from happening in the base. And this is where I'll be happy that I have multiple pickaxes now. You're probably not going to want to watch me mine a whole lot, but we're going to have to give it a go for right now, as I want to display everything that happens as we go. I'm trying to very determinedly grab everything that I find, at least for right now. It's a fresh game and I need everything, thus grabbing everything seems reasonable. Now I'm going to seal off this place. I could torch it down, but that would require a fair amount of torches, and I simply do not want to waste the resources on that. Cobblestone is relatively cheap at this point, and it just makes sense to use that instead. There we go. Alright, so I don't want spawn zones in the base from the simple perspective that if I actually need mob spawning and make a dark room in hopes the mobs will spawn, the less spawn zones elsewhere in the area, the more efficient it'll be. And that should translate into making my life easier. So as we're slowly progressing towards bedrock here, I'm going to pick up stuff as I find it, and it's been rather bad luck with certain ores that spawn. In this mod pack, most ores have spawn zones, so normally you'll find many ores in many places. The only thing really worth noting is that normally things like lapis, gold, and diamond belong to certain Y levels, but everything else tends to be sort of gotten everywhere. This mod pack is very specific about where things spawn, and therefore you actually have to mine all levels to get everything you need. This is nifty because it makes it easy for you to figure out which level you want to mine at, and it's a little bit annoying because it forces you to mine at high Y levels too, instead of just mining at the low Y levels where you have a good chance of getting the most rare things you want. But overall, I just find it useful to have that bit of knowledge reserved. Seems like I'm going to get a lot of charcoal, not a whole lot of anything else at this point. Oh, there we go. Now a few quartz would be good at this point to get me started on ore doubling early. Andesite, granite, and various other things have been added by chisel. These things you'll find are also added to Minecraft 8, 1.8. For some reason they're added by chisel as well. I wonder who got the idea from who, but either way I find them to be mostly annoying, but I'm sure people who have more aesthetic tendencies than I do find that it's nice to have varying varying blocks to build their base from. Now at this point I'm starting to move so far away from my base that parts of it will actually unload if I get too far away. The load zone around the player is fairly big, but I'll have to keep it in mind when I start mining out on bedrock. When I start getting machines, seeing I did not get ender pearls, which is my mission for this round. Alright. However, there's other ways to get ender pearls. There's a few things about getting too feisty too early. Be a little careful when engaging in melee combat with mobs, as well, you're vulnerable, hard difficulty, and no armor. We'll make up for that later in plenty, but for right now it's just worth keeping in mind that did I really mine out of, oh yeah, this one coal ore. There we go. Oh man, alright, that was a beautiful wasted effort. So at this point it's probably a good idea to check where on earth we are. We're at Y53, that means that iron spawns everywhere, which is useful. It's just about every Y level has iron. Given that it's one of the metals that every mod needs, it seems fair enough. Here's some more aluminum. We already have some, but let's just for good measure get some more. Now this is mildly stated not a terribly successful rush start. I am not encountering anything that's remotely useful to me to get quickly started. That's fine though. Working through adversity is probably a good lesson too. So, besides, most important part is that we cover the basics for how to do this and not necessarily be terribly successful. Generally I storm through content, so being held back is probably also going to allow for a few more episodes if this catches my viewers' attention. Yeah, so being fairly new to this YouTubing thing, please comment if there's anything you want me to do differently, and please let me know if there's anything you want me to cover in particular. Again, I'm mostly a tech mod person, but I'll still dabble in the magics, as they tend to have some really useful components. Okay, I've now used up my last pickaxe, and it's probably time to head to the surface regardless. As you can see, this is going to take a while, which is why I want to put stairs or steps on it when I get so far. First though, we're just going to make sure that we turn night to day. And there we go. This is evident. Somebody was already outside waiting for me, so it turned out to be a good decision. Generally, I'd say save cobblestone, save coal and use charcoal, but it seems that when you're rushing, you get to your resources fast enough that it is less of a priority, but I do need more torches. But use sparingly, as there's a few recipes where you can only use coal and not charcoal, so coal is not really a replenishable resource. Maybe I should make some iron tools. I would have really liked to be able to double my iron before I got started on that, but I don't see it happening right now, so we might as well want to get to it. Alright, while that smelts, I'm gonna carry on for a bit. Now the plan is fairly simple. Get to bedrock, get diamonds and gold, and start up on some machines. I want ore doubling. I'm going to probably, for efficiency reasons, use Ender IO for this, at least early game. We'll see late game what I come up with, but early game is definitely going to be Ender IO. because Ender.io is the most efficient way. Ender.io machines are about as fast as TE machines in what they do. They're a little cheaper to make, and they consume about a fourth of the power. A fully upgraded TE machine pulverizer consumes 400 RF per tick, doing roughly what the Ender.io SAG mill does, except the SAG mill actually produces more secondary output at top speed, as that is not altered at all. However, it does need flint. There's a few trade-offs there, but essentially the SAG mill consumes 100 RF per tick going full tilt, and the TE pulverizer consumes about 400. In other words, the Ender.io machine is infinitely more efficient. So sorry about rummaging around the dark, but oh, there we go, copper. Good, good, good. Unfortunately, not a lot of it, but I'll take what I can get. Alright, this needs a little help. Oh, dearest. Yeah, so the spawn zones like that is how you get yourself killed. I'm just gonna wall this off. It's been lit up, so that's fine. And ditto this. Oh, except seems I forgot some. Oh, very good, very good. Alright, it's been lit up. I'll just give it another torch for good measure, and I'll wall it up. Be a good few trips up and down these stairs in the beginning, and in order to make this a little more bearable, I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and there we go. One more quartz and I can do ore doubling, which is going to be really, really nifty, but as we're not quite there yet. I need an iron pick, and that'll do the trick for right now. Actually, there we go. 40 steps, not quite enough to cover, but it'll make the next ascend a lot more effortless. Alright, for those who heard a cat, Ender Zoo adds wither cats for the witches familiars, and this sounds somewhat cute, but it really isn't. These cats turn rather big and hit like a truck, so you want to be careful when you're dealing with Ender.io kitties. There we go. And I hear it, which means it's somewhere down here. So that's probably ravine or dungeon or something close by. Dungeon would be great, a ravine would be useful. I'm going to pick up some more steps. As you can see, this is a whole lot faster. There we go. So I'm going to see if I can get 64 of those. That's good. Alright, let's get to it then. No more excuses. also see that we're going to have to start rounding off episode 1. I plan to do these about as frequently as time will allow, and of course the more people interested in viewing this will have some impact on how frequent I release this as well, because, well, plainly spoken, if there's nobody wanting to view it, then there's no reason to make it. It goes without saying. So, yeah, leave comments, leave likes if you like it, and let me know what you think. I would very much enjoy some constructive criticism, as this is my first time doing these, and yeah, I'm obviously trying to please my audience, so there we go. Anyway, I'll round off season 1 for you, or season 1 episode 1 for you, by going back up, dumping off my load, and sleeping to murder any zombies or skeletons out in the night. It is evidently not night yet. Alright, so my berry bushes have already started giving off fruit, and these will keep growing up to about 3 tall, which means these torches will hinder the growth of 2 of them. That's an offer I'm going to make, the sacrifice I'm going to make. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for episode 1. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.